Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about oxidation and reduction reactions. Now, this is a part of the production of materials topic in chemistry, and I'm just going to quickly go through it. So, oxidation and reduction reactions. What are they? So, an oxidation reaction slash reduction reaction can also be referred to as redox. So, firstly, we can say that it can also be called redox. Oxidation and reduction reactions can be called redox. Cool. Okay. So ultimately, it leads to the transfer of electrons. So it leads to the transfer of electrons. Okay, so that just looks something like this. So the transfer of these, that's the main function of oxidation and reduction reactions. So oxidation and reduction reactions ultimately lead to the transfer of electrons. Now, because there is something called the law of conservation of mass, which basically is nothing can be created or destroyed, a redox reaction cannot really occur unless both of them are coupled. So in redox reactions, both oxidation and reduction must occur. Otherwise it just wouldn't be possible. Okay, so we've concluded that hence a redox reaction must have both an oxidation and a reduction reaction inside it. So they have to be coupled. Okay, so now let's go a bit deeper into what I actually mean by oxidation. So, what is oxidation? Okay, so we can basically define oxidation as the loss of electrons. So oxidation is the loss of electrons. Or what we can also say is that it is the gaining of a positive charge. So it turns into a positive charge. Okay, so that's the two things we can conclude. Oxidation is the loss of electrons, or it can also be said that it is the gaining of a positive charge. Alternatively, we're going to discuss what reduction is. So what is reduction? Okay, that's a good question. Reduction is the gain of electrons. So it's the gain of electrons. That's what reduction is. So reduction, gain of electrons. It's the opposite to oxidation. So gain of electrons. So gain of electrons. So the two key terms in here is oxidation is loss and reduction is gain. They both have the same function. It's either losing or gaining electrons. That's all it is. So okay, moving on. As we said in oxidation, it can also be considered the gaining of a positive charge. Same thing in reduction. It can also be considered gaining of a negative charge. So alternatively, it can be considered as gaining of a negative charge. Okay, so no worries, let's move on. So all this work we just did can be pretty much summed down into a very, very easy thing for you guys to remember. So I'm just gonna quickly sum it all up for you, and hopefully you guys can remember this. Okay, so I'm just gonna show you that this can all be described through this one little thing that we've come up with. So how the heck do we remember this? How can we remember what oxidation and reduction is? So it's actually not that hard, and what there is that there's something called oil rig. So oil rig, I'm just going to write it out. And how we remember it is simply oxidation is gain, is loss, and reduction is gain. So this can really help you remember. All you have to remember is oil rig. Oxidation is loss and reduction is gain. Okay, so now I'm just going to move on to a simple example and just try to consolidate your learning. Now, I actually don't have the oxidation rules, and that's something that you guys should look into. I'm assuming that you already know them, but if you don't, just have a quick search on Google and you can find them really easily. And considering you, assuming that you do know them, this is a simple example that I'm going to go through. So suppose we had 2 mg plus O2, and that is turning into 2. And now I'm just going to put brackets, mg 2 plus, bracket close, and another bracket, O2 minus. So, what can you actually tell here? Okay, no worries, let's figure this out. So, we can say that this Mg is a zero charge. We know this because it's by itself from the oxidation rules. Anything by itself is a zero charge, a monatomic element. Okay, so no worries. This zero charge, so this is over here getting turned into a positive charge. So if a zero charge is turning into a positive charge, it obviously is a loss of electrons. Now, can we remember from oil rig? Yes, we can. Oxidation is loss. So this is oxidation. Okay, no worries. Now, oxygen. Okay. Now, oxygen from here, electrons have been gained. So all we have to say is this is so if we look back to oil rig, so rig reduction is gain. So this is reduction, gain of electrons. Okay, no worries. Now that's a simple example, and I hope it helped. And I hope to see you guys next time. Thank you.